Now my guest this morning settled in Canada with his parents after fleeing from Iran. His family was helped by the Salvation Army, and he claims the moral outlook of his parents, especially his mother, who he describes as a born-again Muslim, had a profound effect on his life. Today, Ramin Karimloo is a major star of the West End with stunning performances in Fantôme and Les Mis. When I met up with him, I started by asking him how he felt about his career at the moment.
I feel very lucky. I was thinking about it last night. You look at the current climate out there with the economy and stuff, and I'm in a show that's successful, and I'm having a great time doing it, so I'm very blessed.
Is there a musical that you haven't done that you'd like to?
Oh man, there's lots I haven't done, and there's lots I would like to do, so I've got to the point where I'm looking for things that I'm going to have fun doing where it doesn't become work, and I'm very grateful that I can say I'm doing that, so one day at a time.
Has music always been a big part of your life?
It has, but it's evolved because I didn't get brought up in a house of music. Although, like my father has a great voice, but, we didn't get brought up with musicals. We weren't the type of family that sit down and watch musical films. So I'm still quite new to music theater in the sense of my knowledge of it. It's always something I turned to, and music would move me. I just couldn't understand what was happening, and I'm still learning what it does to me.
And the journey that brought you here to London was quite an eventful one as well. Take us through it all.
I knew at that point I wanted to be an actor, and I enjoyed singing. And I was just working as a waiter in downtown Toronto. Back of the paper, there was an audition for a cruise ship, so I went on to it, and I got the job, came to England to rehearse. Little did I know they hired me as a dancer, which I thought, this must be a joke. So for 2 weeks, I'm basically copying another male dancer, trying to not lose my job.
Sounds like a nightmare.
I was, every night I'm thinking, wow, what do I do? I can only take this so far. And the day before the tap routine, I thought, okay, that's it, I'm done. The singer decided to postpone his contract, so they said, we remember you singing pretty good. And they said, do you mind stepping up as a singer? I said, what, do I have to dance less? I said, I'm really enjoying the dancing, but you know what, if you need me, I'll, thank God.
I love the story of you then arriving in London and someone saying to you that, the only way to get success was to end up in Pineapple Studios, which for me would be a nightmare on earth.
It was a nightmare, I think it's a great institution over there in what they're offering people to learn the craft, but it scares me when I walk in. I think, man, there's a lot of people who want the same thing. But, you see a lot of people working hard, and I basically closed my eyes and pointed at their board that was full of, singing teachers, photography and all that. And I went to learn some theater songs, and I sang for a person I went to, and luckily he knew an agent that was his friend. Turns out to be a bona fide agent, and that was my stroke of luck, because all he ever promised me was, I'll try and get you auditions.
You were born in Iran, is that right? And then went over to Canada?
When the revolution happened, we all sort of fled to Italy. We ended up there outside of Rome in Ostia for the first few years of my life, and then moved to Peterborough, Ontario. All my childhood, my high school years were just outside of Toronto in Richmond Hill. And then, they were very much supportive. My dad was more supportive in the sense where he didn't want to be an actor because he wanted me to not have a tough life and stuff. He always wanted something better for me, See, he's scared, like any father probably would be. My mom would support me in any decision as long as I'm happy. But now they're both very proud that I've achieved what I set out to do, or I continue to achieve it, hopefully,
And when they moved to start with, they were very brave in a way as well, weren't they? Because they didn't speak English.
And that's another thought I had recently. It's like, I thought about coming here, and at least I knew the language. Well, I kind of do. But it was still a shock to me, and I still think I'm finding my way here, It's when you're accustomed to one thing. So I thought about my parents moving to this real small town in Ontario, didn't know English, and just starting all over again.
Was faith important to them, or is faith important to them?
I think absolutely. My mom's, I call her born-again Muslim. She's very much follows that faith. My dad, I think is very private to him. I think in a roundabout way they taught me about faith. It was more about the morals and being a good person. But, I look back now at some of their sort of lessons and ethos, and I'm like, I know where they learned that from. But they never pushed it up on me. It was something that we kind of gradually found. But the church, looking back now, the Salvation Army was very big on helping us out and finding our way and helping us start a new life.
You're obviously loving the singing over here, because you've had and continue to have a phenomenally successful career.
Yeah, and things are starting to diversify, and I think I'm very blessed with that. I look at, I wanted to be an actor, and I enjoy singing. I don't think too much about it. I just think, wow, I get to do what I love doing, and I think, while I can do that, I'm just going to keep enjoying it and try and learn as much as I can.
Well, I'm delighted that you're not only here to talk to us, but you're going to sing a few tracks live from the album as well. So if you want to dance your way over to the microphone.
I will be dancing. I'm going to bring back some of those moves.
Well, hey, can't wait. And what are you going to perform for us this morning?
Well, we're going to perform Coming Home, an acoustic version of that. As we could be, I always see your face, I always hear your name. All my thoughts reach for you, a million miles away. As time and distance pull us, be sure of this. I can feel the wind change, I can tell when something's not right. Our love is the one thing that keeps us. We will be alright. In some other world you think you've lost me. You need to know I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'll be here listening for your voice. Though time and distance pull us, be sure of this. Oh, I can feel the wind change, I can tell when something's not right. Our love is the one thing that keeps us. We will be alright. In some other world you think you've lost me. You need to know I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Change, I can tell when something's not right. Our love is the one thing that keeps us. We will be alright. In some other world you think you've lost me. You need to know I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
That's Ramin Karimloo and Steve Young on guitar performing Coming Home. Absolutely brilliant, guys. Come back and join me, Ramin, if that's all right. And Steve, I should say, on backing vocals as well. God, multi-talented. Great song. I've got to ask you, where is home for you?
Do you know, I don't know anymore. I feel like I've set up some good roots in a couple places now. You know, is it Canada? Is it England? England's been so good to me, and my adult years have been here, and my adult roots have been laid here. So I always thought Canada's always going to be home as well. But when I go there, there's a expiry date on it because I feel I got to come back home, which is England. And then obviously my bloodline is Iranian.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
I am. But, I think that's the whole thing. You spend your life just taking each day as it comes. And
yeah, of course.
And it all sort of adds to who you are.
When you're singing a song like that, is it a spiritual experience for you?
Singing is spiritual for me. I think it's a form of expression. I never set out to sing technically and look at it from that sort of point of view. I know what it does to me in my heart, and I enjoy doing that. So if I was a professional and getting paid to do it, I'd still be singing in my house and trying to learn to play the guitar, which seems to be an ongoing process.
You just mentioned that you're learning the guitar. Steve's face has dropped, I tell you. You've broken his heart.
He's actually giving me lessons, and he knows it's going to take a long time, so I don't think he's worried about work when it comes to him.
Now this album, out March the 5th, there's quite a few spiritual tracks on the new album as well.
Yeah, well, the whole journey with my sort of like struggle and my own personal struggle and journey with faith, which is always ongoing, that's a major theme of the album.
When you talk about the struggle with faith, does that mean that you wish you had a faith and don't have one?
No, I definitely have one. I just keep a struggle to keep connecting with them. But that's always going to be the case, I think. None of us are perfect. But for me, my sort of journey, I enjoy connecting at times when I sort of need something, and it usually finds me before I find it.
You had one of those moments when we went to a concert, didn't you? Was it Israel Houghton?
That's right. I was in Miss Saigon in Birmingham, and I sprained my ankle. I couldn't drive home for at least 24 hours. So now Miriam, she's very strong with her faith, said, well, I'm going to, and she chose the word concert, because if she said worship to me at that time, I was like, no, not coming. And I said, concert, I'll come. Yeah, why not? So I went there, and it was their only UK date, and it was Israel Houghton in Newbreed. It was a phenomenal concert, but the message and the worship, and I remember thinking, the pastor at the time asked a question on stage, and I ended up responding, and I'm thought, what am I doing? Why am I responding? What's going on here? What's happening? What have you done? I'll never forget that day, and I left that day thinking, something's going on here. So since then, I've been really exploring it.
It's interesting because, you wouldn't think of musical theatre being a hotbed of Christianity, but it is, isn't it? I know for a fact that there are lots of Christian groups within nearly all the major musicals in London.
Oh, it's huge, and obviously you got, modern Christian music is so big and effective. And again, that's how it started connecting with me, especially with Israel, was through music. That's why for me, I think, and for a lot of people, music is spiritual. Now, if I went to a spoken word, I probably wouldn't have the same effect on me. Now I understand a bit more of it, but like I said, it's an ongoing process.
I know that you worked with Cat Stevens, or Yusuf Islam, as he's now known, and that had quite an impact on you, didn't it?
Yeah, I remember not knowing he was part of it. I knew we were doing his stuff, but I didn't know he actually was going to be part of the workshop. And I remember when he walked in the room, it's like one of those delights. Whoa! Yeah. He was so peaceful, and there's something about that I loved about him is his journey with faith. He read a lot. He went through basically all of them to settle on what he's found, and I had a lot of respect for that, and his morals, and just how accepting he was. And I remember the book he gave me, and he signed it, On Your Road to Find Out, and I still have that. I think it's something I hold dear to me in my experience with him. The 4 weeks I spent with him is on 2 separate 2-week occasions. I'll never forget it. And I loved in rehearsals, in the workshop, his family would be there, but at certain times they'd go away into a room, they'd pray together. Now, for whatever faith they have, that's up to them, and I think that's an individual journey for anyone, but to see that family do that together, and I thought, man, you don't see that anymore, and I think that's fantastic.
What he wrote in that book, what a great name for an album.
Yeah, and it's just one of my favorite songs of his. Yeah, I can't really take that. I should re-record it, though. See, that song would be important to me. That would have been maybe album 2.
Next one.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, because you're very, very busy. Anyone that sings up until, 11 o'clock at night on Les Mis, is it? Is it still?
Yeah.
It's a long old show,
I feel it.
Well, you don't look it. You're going to sing one more song for us. What are you going to sing?
This is called Cathedrals.
Brilliant. Take it away.
Shadows of tall buildings, the fallen angels on the ceilings, oily feathers and bronze and concrete, faded colors, pieces left incomplete. The line moves slowly past the electric fence, across the borders, between the continents, in the cathedrals of New York and Rome. There is a feeling that you should just go home and spend a lifetime finding out just where that is. statues and glass dividers. Someone is watching all of the outsiders. The line moves slowly through the numbered gates, past the mosaic of the head of state. In the cathedrals of New York and Rome, there is a feeling that you should just go home and spend a lifetime finding out just where that is. In the shadows of tall buildings, of open arches, endlessly kneeling, sonic landscapes, echoing vistas. Someone is listening from a safe distance. The light moves slowly to a fading light, a final moment in the dead of night. In the cathedrals of New York and Rome, there is a feeling that you should just go home and spend a lifetime finding out just where that is. Oh, in the cathedrals of New York and Rome, there is a feeling that you should just go home and spend a lifetime finding out just where that is.
That was Ramin Karimloo singing live, and on Friday the 20th of April you can see Ramin with a special Friday Night is Music Night concert featuring some of the biggest hits from the West End.